Hey y'all, we're back. Everlee and Rachel, we're here to read some books. We've got another really great book, and it is called
Teach Amelia by Bedelia by Peggy, Parish, pictures by Lynn. Sweet.
Yeah, it's one of the Amelia Bedelia series. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
Can we switch spots so we can
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, because they're a little bit saturated.
Oh.
And we only show that a luscious color.
Do I need to bring it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Or can you? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Should we restart it? Or?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
So Teach Amelia by Peggy, Parish, pictures by Lynn. Sweet. From the Library of, and then it's inclusive.
Yeah, it's like a teacher, Mrs. Sue Miners.
Okay.
I think she donated it.
Wait, do you like to hold it?
Yes.
Here is the first luscious, colorful page.
Looks like they're at recess.
Teach Amelia by Bedelia. What will it? For Miss was my first grade teacher who introduced me to the magic of words with love. That telephone was ringing. I'm coming, said Amelia Bedelia. She answered the phone. Mrs. Rogers. She said, "Where are you?" There's a little cat right there. There's a little cat.
I love kitties.
But it looks scary.
Frazzled cat.
Yeah, and speaking of screaming, I need a.
What is that, baby? Is that your ducky?
Other one. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm at the airport in Pinewood. So Mrs. Rogers, you didn't tell me you were going away, said Amelia Bedelia. I'm not, said Mrs. Rogers. I'm meeting the new teacher. But her plane is late. That's too bad, said Amelia Bedelia. The telephone at school is out of order, said Mrs. Rogers. Wait on, please go to Mr. Carter's office at the school and tell him what I said. I'll go right now, said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia got her things. She walked to school with Mr. Carter's office. She asked, that first door, said a child. Amelia walked in. There's a swing set right there.
Ooh, fun.
Mrs. Rogers tried to call you, but your phone is out of order. I know, said Mr. Carter, but thank goodness you're here. The children are going wild. Mrs. Lane left us sorry for today. I'll take you to the room. He handed Amelia Bedelia the list.
Oh boy.
There's a little paper. There's a little paper right here. I wonder what that's. What that is. What's it?
A little. Oh, that's his credentials.
Oh.
Like his graduation.
Follow us, he said. They went down the hall. Mr. Carter opened up the door. Children were all over the place. Why, said Mr. Carter. Quiet. This is your new teacher. Me teach, said Amelia Bedelia, but Mr. Carter was gone.
Oh my gosh, he just dropped her off. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. There's airplanes everywhere.
Oh dear.
She looked at the children. They looked at her. I'm Amelia Bedelia, she said. The children giggled. You're nice, said Amelia Bedelia. I do like have happy children, but we have a lot to do.
Oh boy. Hold on, baby. I'm going to turn this little light on so you can see the paint better.
She held up the list. Now we must do what this says. She said no, it's forced. Amelia but Bedelia read, call the wool. She looked puzzled. Call the wool. What wool? She said. Does anybody have a wool? I have, said Peter.
Do get it.
Do get it, said Amelia but Bedelia. Peter opened his lunchbox. Here it is. Wait a second. Call the wool. So I'm supposed to call the wool.
Oh, roll call.
Roll call.
Like, okay, so yeah, they're supposed to do like make sure everybody's there and name off the names. And she's like, does anybody have a roll? Because she takes everything literally. And he's like, yeah, I have a roll in my lunchbox.
I have one in my lunchbox. And then now she's gonna call the wool.
Oh my gosh. Call the roll. What roll?
The wool is a joke. Now I have to call us Emily but Bedelia. Hey, wool. Alright, that takes care of that. The children would. Amelia but Bedelia read her list. Land snakes. She said, listen to this. Sing a song. I was never much fun of. I was never much of a hand at singing. But it says sing a song, so I'll sing. And she did it more and more. The children knows that Amelia and Bedelia. It said a song. I just did that. Said the children. Now it's reading time, said Amelia but Bedelia. I know about that. I read my cookbook. It tells me just what to do. She held up a book. She said, "Is this the right one?" Yes, said Amanda. That's violent in public.
Oh my gosh.
Amelia but Bedelia opened the book. I declare, she said, this is a good one. Are you ready? Yes, said the children. All right, said Amelia. It says 1-on-1 the children just sat.
Okay.
I'm back into fame now. Oh my gosh.
Now what? Oh my gosh. What is she going to do next? It says, run, run, run. The children just sat. Amelia to Bedelia clapped her hands. Run, she said, run, run, run. Amelia Bedelia ran. Not the children. She did it.
The children ran after her around the room, through the house, and around the block. They ran. Finally, they ran back into the classroom. Amelia Bedelia popped on her chair. That takes care of 1-on-1, she said. Your book plump tied me out. Let's see what next. What's next? I hope we don't have to run to do it. She got the list. She said, it's science time. Plant a bulb. Do you know about that? Yes, said Tim. We bought pots. Where are the bulbs? Said Amelia Bedelia. In the top closet, said Rebecca. Nothing here but some dried up onions, she said.
Well,
I need to come back into the frame, of course, because I'm reading here.
do you want me to keep reading? Do you want me to read now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll read now for a little bit. You all go outside. Put some soil in your pots. I'll go buy some bulbs. Amelia Bedelia went to the store. She hurried back. Oh boy, look what kind of bulbs she bought. Those look like light bulbs, right?
But they are bulbs.
Okay, the children were waiting. Here's a bulb for you and you, said Amelia Bedelia. She gave everyone a bulb. The children looked surprised. Then they started giggling.
I could turn into a car while laughing.
But they planted those bulbs. They put the pots on the windowsill. Those do look right pretty, said Amelia Bedelia, and I learned something new. I didn't know you could plant bulbs. Suddenly a bell rang. What's that for, said Amelia Bedelia. Free time, yelled the children. Good, said Amelia Bedelia. The children ran outside, and Amelia Bedelia sat down to rest. I bet she was supposed to watch them. Then free time ended. Back came the children. It's quiet time now, said Amelia Bedelia. You're supposed to read stories. Each child chose a book, always quiet. Why aren't you reading, said Amelia Bedelia. We are, said Ed. I don't hear you, said Amelia Bedelia. The children looked at Amelia Bedelia. They looked at each other, and Amelia Bedelia heard them all right. My, I'll be glad when quiet time is over, she said. My ears hurt. Jeff said, art comes next. That's fun. Amelia Bedelia looked at her list. You're right, she said. You must paint pictures now. The children got sheets of art paper. What are you doing, said Amelia Bedelia. We're going to paint pictures, said Bud. But how can you, said Amelia Bedelia. There's no picture there to paint. Well, make pictures, said Mary. Oh, no, said Amelia Bedelia. This says to paint pictures. You can't paint a picture without a picture to paint. Oh, no. Oh, no. Better find one for yourself. The children ran around the room. Not a picture was left on the wall. But all the children were painting.
I guess it counts.
Soon the pictures were back on the wall. They sure look different, said Steve. Yes, said Amelia Bedelia. Mr. Carter will be surprised. The children shook their head. He sure will, said Janet. What's next, said Jamie. Our play, said Rebecca. We have to practice our play. Practice play, said Amelia Bedelia. You mean children have to practice play? School sure has changed since I went. All right, out you go. But Amelia Bedelia said, the children, no buts, said Amelia Bedelia. Let's go. Start playing. Practice that jump rope some more, said Amelia Bedelia. I can do better than that. Show us, said Janet. And Amelia Bedelia did. I can run faster than that, said Amelia Bedelia. Show us, said Steve. So Amelia Bedelia did. That's fine, she said. You've practiced long enough. Let's go inside. Let's see what's next, said Amelia Bedelia. Here are some problems for you. Yuck, said the children. Jenny, get your apples, said Amelia Bedelia. What apples, said Jenny. Amelia Bedelia looked puzzled. She said, but it says Jenny has 4 apples. Paul takes away 2. Oops, said Amelia Bedelia. I didn't think I was supposed to tell that part. She read the other problems. These all have apples in them, she said. Does anybody have apples? The children shook their heads. Amelia Bedelia had an idea. Let's go to my house, she said. We have lots of apples. Yes, shouted the children. We better leave a note, said Amelia Bedelia. She went to the blackboard and wrote, we are at the Rogers house, A.B. Then off they went to the Rogers backyard. Amelia Bedelia got the apples. She called some children. There is a problem for each of you, she said. You all have apples. Somebody's going to try to take some away. Are you going to let them? No, shouted the children. Amelia Bedelia went to the other children. You are supposed to take away some of their apples, she said. She told each child whom to take from. Can you do that, she said. Sure, said the children. All right, everybody, said Amelia Bedelia, go. Children started after each other. They ran all over the yard. Oh my gosh. Amelia Bedelia turned and went into the kitchen. She put some of this and a lot of that in a big pot. She put the pot on the stove. There, she said, I'll surprise them. Amelia Bedelia started out. Just then, Mr. Rogers started in. What is all of this? Said Mr. Rogers. What are all those children doing? Math, said Amelia Bedelia. Math, said Mr. Rogers. Come see, said Amelia Bedelia. They went out. That's not fair, Steve, yelled Janet. You hid your apples. I can't take any. That's not fair, Judy, shouted Andy. You took away all my apples. What in tarnation are they doing? Said Mr. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia read him the problems. That sounds like fun. I'm going to help them, he said. He joined the children. Now that does beat all, said Amelia Bedelia. She went inside. Later she called, everybody come. All apples on the table. Apples came from everywhere. Amelia Bedelia put a stick on each and she slipped them into the pot. Taffy apples, everybody shouted. Right, said Amelia Bedelia. Take one and go home. School is out. The children grabbed the apples and crowded around Amelia Bedelia. Please, please, teach us again, each one said. Amelia Bedelia said nothing. She looked at her kitchen and she shook her head. Mrs. Rogers walks in. Someone was with her. What happened, she said. Where are all the children? Home, said Amelia Bedelia. Home, said Mrs. Rogers. But it's not time. It was for me, said Amelia Bedelia. This is Miss Reed, said Mrs. Rogers. She is the new teacher. She came to get the children. Then she'll have to find them, said Amelia Bedelia. I'm plumb tired out. But, said Mrs. Reed. More taffy apples, called Mr. Rogers. Taffy apples, said Mrs. Rogers. Come on, Mrs. Reed. Amelia Bedelia put the taffy apples on the table. They all sat down and ate. Oh my God. I'll teach you anytime, said Miss Reed. I'll let you teach anytime, said Miss Reed. If you'll make taffy apples. Be glad to, said Amelia Bedelia. I do love children. It says Miss Amelia Bedelia is calling the roll. What else will she do when she teaches the class? Roll! Hey, roll! Oh my